What's the importance of this new factory here in Brazil for the South America or the South Hemisphere strategy for Avery Dennison?
Well, the investment actually follows a number of ongoing investments. We fundamentally believe in a future where every physical item will have a digital identity and a digital life. And as the largest RFID UHF player in the world, we believe we need to take a leadership role and continued leadership role in making sure that possibility for the whole of all industries comes to life. And so this investment in Brazil follows just another set of investments we've been doing all around the world, whether it's North America or Europe or Asia. This is our first substantive investment, particularly in Brazil. Brazil is a unique captive market in some ways. And we know that given the significant growth profile for the industry over here, we believe that we need to make sure that we're providing as close to the source manufacturing for inlays particularly as possible. And so it's just one of a series of investments that we're going to continue to make around as we grow our business dramatically over the next few years.
So the industries you are targeting for this strategy are the pharmaceutical, food, and what kind of industries are you
So
targeting?
the industries that we see the largest growth opportunities have historically been apparel. That's one specific growth because everything is largely item marked. But we see significant opportunities in food, in logistics, particularly those two. And then there's lesser opportunities, although of scale still in aviation and pharmaceuticals. We see each part of those segments having we look at each segment and say, what does the growth profile look like? How are our solutions likely to enable that digitization of that industry? And then we choose to invest in depending on how that goes. And we see particularly in Brazil, clearly with apparel, with food and logistics as the primary ones, we see a significant opportunity here to continue to support the local business as well.
I see almost all industries are interested in some sustainability solutions too. Are you seeing that? How do you see the opportunities for business in this area?
Well, sustainability is, I think, for most businesses, is a key priority. For us, it's both a core strategy and a value as well. It's one of our 8 values. It's our 5th strategy as a company overall. And I think actually technology plays a huge part in sustainability. So there's not only how do I reduce my impact on the environment, how do I continue to drive efficiency across the industry, but also how do I make sure that the products that I sell, which form part of something that goes on, can ultimately either be recycled, repurposed, or reused at the end of their life.
In a circular economy?
Circular economy, exactly. And so to that extent, we have set ourselves goals during 2025 as a company, and also we just laid out goals for 2030 for our sustainability objectives. And they touch on all these things, how we reduce our overall impact through our manufacturing processes, but now more expanded through the whole supply chain. How do our products enable circularity to come to life? And technology will play a very big part in that. So if you're able to uniquely identify an item, then not only can you trace it from its birth all the way through the process to the point a consumer has it, but also in the future be able to enable that consumer to use that digital identity also to determine what to do with that item. So this shirt, when it gets to the end of its life, how do I as a consumer know what to do with it? Where do I take it to be recycled? How do I repurpose it? That digital identity will play a very, very key role in doing that. And so we see the technology being a critical enabler and support for sustainability as well.
All this vision I see has the supply chain, the smart supply chain, and also the smart packaging as a role to be played in this area.
I think about it in 3 ways. There's the item from the start of its birth, so provenance, where an item was made, how it was made, how it goes to the supply chain. Typically it ends up in some form of retail consumer engagement, and there's a whole piece around that. And then the third element is consumer at home, end of life, really. And for those 3 elements, we believe that particularly UHF RFID at the moment can play a very key role, but it's not the only sensor technology. There are all sorts of other sensor technology, and we're continuing to invest in all of them because we believe they will all play a part, whether it's in the supply chain, in retail, or at end of life as well. And so linking those technologies together, I think will provide many of the segments that we play in the optimum way to make sure they're achieving not only their efficiency goals, their visibility goals, their transparency goals, and their sustainability goals as well.
Okay, and to finish this conversation, or to have a conclusion of that, how do you see the future, or when we are going to achieve these goals with all this intelligence being part of our products and our supply chains?
Well, I think it's already started. So we're already seeing how the technology has been applied to many industries like apparel and food already. We know how items are made, we know where they're made, and we know how to get them to stores in a very efficient way, and we know how to enable consumers to pick the right items. We're seeing that in food, we're seeing that in apparel, and now in logistics as well. I think ultimately one-to-one engagement between consumers and products. We're seeing a number of trials, we're participating in those, we're leading some of them, but it's at the infancy, it's the start of that piece. And I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see an explosion in how consumers look at a physical item and work with its digital identity. And that community is still growing, and I think it'll, over the next 10 years, be really a significant part of the way we as consumers interact with the world as well.
I'll break my promise and I will do one more question.
Go ahead,
okay? The idea of the partnership with the companies that are part of your ecosystem. How do they help Avery Dennison to achieve customers and make this future?
Well, I think no one company stands alone by itself. We're clearly a market leader. We have been the market leader in this space for a while. We see our role is helping the whole market and broader industry grow. But in order to do that, we need all of the partners. We need not only the customers that we're engaged with, but also the system integrators, the converters, and actually all of our competitors as well, because we all play a role in making this industry more vibrant than it is. When there is mass adoption, then everybody wins at that stage, and we will clearly play a significant role in that. It also will take, I believe, every part of the supply chain for us to achieve the sustainability that we need as an industry in all those segments I've talked about as well.
Okay, and to finish, okay, what's your idea or your opinion, or something you can say to make all the industries be interested in investing in technologies that are making products and all the supply chain intelligent or smart?
Well, I would just simply say, I think we know that the technology works. We don't have to prove the technology. We have multiple use cases. I think what we also know is that we now have the data infrastructure to be able to handle data on a mass scale. And I think every business out there should be looking at saying, in a more digitized, digital, more sustainable world, you're going to need technologies like RFID, like sensing technology, to be able to compete and to play a role moving forward. So whatever stage of the journey you're on, companies like ourselves and others are here to help drive that change and be partners in that change for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.